All right, welcome to Turbine Conversion Flux Innovation F100. Um, kind of got mixed emotions about this project because I expected a little bit more when I opened the box, but the more I get into it, it'll probably be okay. I'm been used to the free wing stuff for years, and I know they have set the bar very, very high. And granted, companies do things a little bit different. Um, I mean, if the stabs weren't done right, I would have never even considered this project. I mean, they're done very nicely molded horn, nice shaft. They fit in the bearings fairly well. So I have no issue with this. Looks like they got some reinforcement on. So, these are great. The wing, it's okay. I just don't like the carbon spars going directly into a foam pocket. It's just against my belief. I wish there'd be like a fully molded rib right here, and the spars. They're sloppy right off the get go. I don't get it. If you're gonna mold a part, mold it to the right size. Same thing in the fuselage. The fuselage, it's a little sloppy. I can fix that with a layer of tape or so. That's fine. It'll work. So let's get into the meat and potatoes here. Whole idea on a turbine conversion is to try to get as much fuel on the CG as possible. If you put the fuel forward or aft of the CG, you're just going to fight it the whole flight. So my goal is to always put the fuel right on the CG. I like to use the MAP 2-ounce UAT. We're going to put that up front here. I molded a little, I put some release on the UAT, wrapped 3 layers of 3/4 ounce around it. Cut a hole in the battery tray right here in the UAT, and it fits real nice. Kind of hangs down in the duct a little bit, but I'm over it. I need room for the lines to come up. This is going to be no big deal at all. I'm probably going to put the receiver over here. The lines coming up from the turbine are going to run right alongside of it. And I think the CG will come out pretty well. Batteries up here. It's always easier to do a turbine conversion when, as an EDF, they got the battery more aft than forward because they don't have the battery weight. So it's yet to be determined how it's going to come out, but I don't really see any problems with the CG. Plus, in this area right here, if I got to route this out, I can always stick some batteries up in there. All right, so let's look at the bottom. It was a little difficult trying to figure out where I was going to put the fuel in this model. I didn't want to fill the whole intake duct up with fuel, so I came up with this right here. It's 2 inches wide. We'll get a shot of what it looks like down inside the inlet. There's still plenty of airflow going around it. It's fairly close to the CG. It's not right on it. It's just a little bit forward. I did the best that I could. I didn't want to go cutting it any further aft, messing with these spars back here or the gear wells. So this is what I came up with. It only holds 31 ounces. I wish it held 35 or 36, but I might do a revision to the plug where I can add a little girth to it. I can add a little bit here, give it a little bit more fuel, or I can also add a little bit to the length, which will move the turbine and everything further aft. But I think it's going to work out well. It's kind of very similar to all the other tanks I do, where the fuel just falls down in the sump here, and the clunk rattles around, and the vent tube goes up to the top right here. I think it's going to work fine. And to hold this in, and before I go any further, the first thing I did is, before I did any cutting on the model, I put some saran wrap down on here with some water to hold it down, and I did a layup over this area to create like a hatch. So this is what the hatch looks like. I molded a little retainer for the tank to keep it from going forward. And this will get screwed down to all these little pucks with a real little bitty #2 screw. And once you paint it, you'll never know that it's there. So I was pretty happy with that. Back here on the tailpipe, there really wasn't hardly any foam removal to do at all. I used my normal technique for cutting the slots for the turbine and pipe mount. If you look back on my T33 videos, it shows you exactly how to do that. They worked out great. I glue them in before I drill them. And I mean, there's a lot of girth here. They work perfect. So the engine has about a 1/8" gap between the tank and the front starter. So that should work out fine. So that's going to go right about there. To the tank's at. I'll drill to right about there, and the pipe is going to go right about there. Once again, I drill everything after these are glued in, just because if something moves. The fuel lines won't be a problem here. Flex put this little cutout in a really nice spot. Right, that cutout right there. I guess it's for air for the speed controller. But the fuel line and 3-wire connection plug was going to go right through there. Won't be no problem at all. So it's, you know, my conventional pipe that I've been selling with all my other stuff. It works out really good. I'll take a shot up the back here. It's nice about too. It's a 9. I've been doing a lot of 80mm models, and with a 90. You got just a little bit more room to do your stuff, and there's plenty of room. As far as the hatch goes back here, I just glued these 2 pieces together, 2 tabs up there, screw down there, it'll be fine. Plenty of air going by there. I tell you what, he really did do a nice job with the inlet on this thing. It's very, you know, for an EDF, it's as good of an inlet as you can get. And on the turbine, we're dirtying it up a little bit. Take a shot here of what the inlet looks like with the fuel tank in. Take a shot up this way here. So, you know, it does take up some of the inlet, but, you know, you got to put the fuel somewhere. So I think it's going to work out fine. We'll turn the thing back over. And I think I can do this. I'm doing the build or the build video as I'm building this right now. That way I don't have to do another one. I think I can wrap up everything in 2 videos. Make it easier on me. If you look down this space here, you know, he does have a really good sized cavern down in there for the speed controller, which I've thrown around the idea if I don't want to modify my plug to give it some more girth to hold some more fuel. I might make a tank to go down in here. You know, I think I can easily get another 6 to 8 ounces up in there, because it seems like these engines, they're really happy with about 36, 37 ounces. At least that's where I like it. The 31 will give you a solid 6.5, 7 minute flight, but I just like the extra. He's got everything set up with his gyro. Everybody says they work great, which they probably do. It just, I'm not familiar with it. I'm a hardcore jetty assist guy. So I'm probably going to use the jetty assist. One thing he didn't do is he didn't put any control surface deflection movements in the manual, because everything's preset when you plug this into your receiver. So I will hook this up and see what the control deflections are, because everybody says it's, you know, pretty much rock solid with the movements he has set. So we'll see. Other than that, it's different from the free wing. You know, some things scare me. I wish the spar went all the way through, at least the aft spar, because the aft spar, it does go into the wing fairly far. I threw around the idea of running a full tube all the way through, except my fuel tank's in the way a little bit now, and I really don't want to modify it. So, I don't know, it's just kind of against my belief on running 2 spars in that far, because when you load up the wing, it puts the fuselage here in tension on this glue joint. That's basically the only thing holding the model together is a glue joint they got on butt line 0 here. So it seems to work for everybody. I haven't heard of anybody's coming apart in the air, so that's a good feeling. Should move pretty good with the X45. So we'll continue with the build, and I'll probably do one more video right before I take it out and fly. Okay, thanks for watching.